bit privileged in the sense that we only have one kind of betting system, and that's owned by the government, which is the TAB.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't say we can't go on other betting websites because the TAB doesn't offer esports. So
Yeah, oddly.
Bet365 that's going on. I'm just looking it up now as we're talking about it. Vici Game Reborn paying $2.25 to beat Newbie later on tonight. Um, it's an interesting thing. I'm actually quite excited about this. I might put some money in. I think gambling's fun, but not to like make money. I would never try gamble to make money. I just gamble to enhance my experience because it like you get invested in it.
Yeah.
But as for like the CS:GO thing you're talking about, is that when people like put their items in and then they like gamble them in a just have a random chance to like double up on their items and shit like that.
Yeah, so Fragenstein makes a good distinction in chat. He says we have to be careful with the distinction between what's gambling and then what's betting sites, and the distinction being that
Yeah, that's true.
that a betting site like the TAB or Bet365, which was the examples that we used earlier, um, they give you odds. So in theory, it's going to be fair because if it's not fair, then at the end of the day, it's the house that loses. So they have to try to make the odds competitive. But with a gambling site, it's basically here's what they do is they offer like skins, and then they're like, hey, I've bet $500 worth of my skins on a supposed 50-50 chance that they come out and I win several $1,000s.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really valuable point. I think as well is that in a betting site, the device over which you're betting is not controlled by the site, so therefore it's like an external thing. So the site can't really manipulate results like you can in a gambling website.
Yeah.
And also in a gambling website, it's only you against. I guess in a betting, it's you against the house as well. But like, I guess there's also like you could have online poker, which is different again, because in a way that's gambling because the device is maintained within the system. But you're betting against somebody else, so therefore the money transactions are a bit more transparent than just you spinning a wheel against the house.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I mean, gambling itself, like, if people want to gamble, so be it. Like, as long as you can make sure that, in a supposedly random situation, that the outcomes are actually random, or the chances are what they say they are, then, like, from in that aspect, I've got no problems with gambling. But it's like, the issue that I have is that, like, a teenager, like a young kid who, 13, 14 years of age, can then go on and actually earn real money. Like, the classic earn real money
Yeah.
meme. But, like, the thing is that Valve have gotten around this by saying that, well, skins technically aren't money. They have
Yeah.
no value attached to them. It's only people it's only users themselves who actually attach money to it. Like, it's so in that sense, it's like these are just like that's the distinction that they've been
Well,
able
it's
to
just a form
use.
of bartering, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I know, which is like another issue in itself, but it's like that's how they've gotten around it so far, and that's how gambling sites can kind of operate. But like with things like Bet365, and I know again betting gambling distinction, but like still the thing is that you have to be 18 to be able to do this, and for a website, for say, we use the TAB as example, you have to, although anyone can create an account and say that they're 18, you to actually get a profit, you have to go into,
Oh yeah, to check out
you actually have to go in and physically show them your ID, which again, like, you can start off with a $5 skin and then get $100 worth of skin, like $1,000 worth of skins, and then sell those $1,000 worth of skins on the Steam marketplace. Again, you don't have to be any age to do that, which effectively kind of voids that barrier. Luckily, I think in Dota, we don't see this as much. Like, obviously there are betting sites out there, like, like CSGO Lounge and that kind of stuff, but that's, again, that betting gambling distinction where it's a betting site. So you're betting on Vici
yeah.
Gaming to win, or you're betting on, whatever, who's going to get the first 10 kills. You're not straight up saying, I've got 5 SF Immortals, I'm going to chuck it in a random pot and see if I win. I mean, there are sites that do that, but certainly not as prominent in the Dota scene as it is the CSGO scene, which I guess we're lucky for.
And with the recent CS:GO things and the gambling sites, like from my point of view, it's a straight scam. That's what it is. It's like you're convincing somebody that the odds of winning are better than they actually are,
Yeah,
so that they're putting the money in because they think that their odds of winning are, are
yeah,
higher, and then you've basically just ripped them off.
yeah. Um,
And in saying that, I don't know why anyone would actually trust an online gambling website because I certainly wouldn't.
yeah, that's the other thing as well. Is it's kind of like, I'm gonna put my money in the pot. But you know what makes, but like that's the thing though, is like what makes that in that scenario respectable is you see these guys on stream or on YouTube videos who supposedly win thousands of dollars, and you're like, well, if they're gonna win, $3,000 on a supposed like 10% chance they win their skins, then like that all of a sudden legitimizes the entire operation for everyone because it's like, hey, we can actually make real money from it. For those who are watching and don't know, there's actually a really good video by H3H3 Productions, aka Vape Nation. You might know them as the Vape Nation guys. But Ethan does a video which breaks it all down in about 13 minutes. Very interesting watch. Also, Fragenstein dropping in chat that there is, I read a bit of the AMA at the time. It was done a couple of months ago, I think, if it's the same AMA I'm thinking of. And it was actually esports lawyers kind of weighing in on the legality of the whole situation. And again, everyone had different opinions because once again, it's a grey area. Actually, kind of like online gambling when it first started. Any kind of like online poker machine because of the lack of regulation, I guess, and that's obviously the trap that you don't want to fall into.
Well, like in the States, for example, all the online sites are hosted from like Indian reservations because it bypasses the Indian reservations bypass local laws. So like, there's lots of states where that happens.
Gambling, boys, I mean, any way that people can find to kind of get rich quick on the internet, people kind of just tend to use it. And I mean, like,
But what's the repercussions now for the people that got caught out doing this? Do they
I'm
get
actually not
banned from
sure.
Twitch and stuff?
I'm not sure actually, because this has only kind of come out in the last couple of days. I haven't read Reddit today. Oh, apparently there was one today. In Global Offensive. Okay, well that makes sense. I'm not actually sure. Like, this is still very fresh, and I know that no
Yeah.
one had issued. This is yesterday when I read it, that no one had issued like official statements via like Valve or anything like that. But
But I think that's a logical thing, isn't it? Because if you're using Twitch to run scams, then you might as well just get banned from Twitch.
yeah, I mean, but the argument that H3H3 put forth, which I think is an interesting one, at all levels to kind of discuss, is Valve allow your account to be attributed to a third party website. So and that so like
Oh yeah,
that's
that's
kind
how
of,
the gambling websites all work, eh?
yeah, because they get access to your inventory because it's a Valve third party site. So the argument there is, I mean, Valve could regulate which third party sites it allows it on because
And
obviously,
also regulate like how those sites interact. Like they could make it so that the sites even aren't able to move your items and take items from you. Just be able to read what you have.
yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, like, because there are. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, in terms of third party applications, like something like Dota like that's so Dota or Yasp or like in terms of like Dota third party ones,
They're
and
cool, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like there is, it's certainly like you certainly can't take it away, but at the same time, I think there has to be like there is a certain responsibility to Valve who've created this market. I mean, obviously they've done it intentionally because they profit massively from microtransactions on the Steam
Yeah, but they profit
marketplace.
from that's the interesting thing is that like they profit so much from the marketplace that I'm quite surprised that they haven't tried harder to outlaw third party websites as opposed to like and just try keep it contained within the Steam marketplace. But maybe they recognize that third party websites actually like add to a lot of like interest around the
For
items
sure,
and like add to people buying them and stuff as well.
it glamorizes it as well. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like a really quote unquote cool item or a cool looking item or a rare item is only cool or rare if, well, it's only cool if people, think it's cool by that same measure. Like, more people are, like, when more people are aware in how, like, skins and bidding and all that kind of stuff work, then obviously they're probably going to look to make more microtransactions. Here's an interesting story. So this is from me. So Dota's my first MOBA, right? And when I rocked up to Dota, free-to-play game, sick. Dota's free-to-play. Get into the game, and people actually pay for, like, items in the game, but that don't in any way affect the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, what? Why would you just waste money on that? Like, this is a free-to-play game. I'm never going to make a microtransaction in my life. That just seems retarded. And then, all of a sudden, I'm, like, buying compendiums. I've never bought an Arcana. Never gone out and just bought an Arcana. But, like, I certainly have grown intrigued as to the marketplace. And then I'm hooked. And then microtransactions. And then...
Like, yeah, I was the same as well when I started. I was like, what? All these noobs, like, what are you doing? Just spending heaps of money on it and it doesn't do anything. And then after a while, you start to crank up the hours and you're like, oh shit, I've played 1,000 hours of Dota 2, like, and I haven't paid anything. And so, like,
Yeah.
you're like, man, maybe I should give some money to the developers, like, because it's such a good game and I spend so much time playing it.
Or it's
And then,
like-
also, the compendiums are really worth it because I think that, like, they just, like, give a little bit more interest to the game, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I never seen the event. Like the Arcanas are real interesting as well. I was thinking about it the other day because we gave away an Arcana for the Dota, the Prime Dota Oceania.
Yeah.
We ran a little thing, and I was like, man, who actually buys this? Because it's like you could get so many other cool skins and sets in the game for the amount of money that we spent buying that Arcana. And it's all down to do with the value, isn't it? It's like you have it and it's worth lots of money, and then people see it and they're like, oh, this guy must be loaded because he's got this $40 set.
Yeah. It's like Fury. Fury, I know he isn't in chat. I think Fury's in the middle of a JDL game, but like he is very much. He has got to have like every set under the sun because it doesn't matter like what hero he plays. If he's playing it on stream in front of viewers, he wants to have And I mean like that's cool. Each their own. I see like a bunch of pro players, and it's like 2 days after this supposedly random chance item comes out, all the pro players who play Hero X have got the item. And it's like, you've obviously just dropped a whole lot of money on it to get the item.
And like also people level up their Arcanas, their compendium so much as well, bro. I'm mind blown by like the amount of funds that people have put into that.
Yeah, it makes me sad. It makes me wish I had that kind of disposable income. But Rick, anyway,
who's got the highest on your friends list?
Fury. Oh no, it's a mate of Fury's, and he's like 1,200 or 1,300.
Oh, I got someone called KSM, and they're 1976.
Wow.
This is a fat grand that they've dropped on there. It's about 50 cents a level, isn't it?
I'm not
or maybe
sure.
it's less.
Not sure, actually.
I think it works out to be around that. If you just buy levels straight up, that's what it works out to be. But then obviously you get levels from somewhere.
25. Yeah, true. Well, anyway, regardless of items and how we feel about items, gambling in general, I think definitely there's got to be there's got to be some kind of regulation at some level come in. Not just like gambling itself's kind of always been a bit iffy, or it's become a whole lot more grey area in recent times because of just the amount of people using it. Obviously in this like specific situation, like these guys are gonna be, I'm sure, hung out to dry, and I really hope, again, another gripe at Twitch. I love Twitch. If any Twitch admins are watching, Twitch, great platform, never had any problems with it. But Twitch often lack balls when it comes to big streamers because of the revenue that they bring in.
Yeah.
And it would be nice if these two had just hung out to dry. And I said, well, you guys are just dicks. I'm not sure if you guys are just dicks. I'm sure there's like some terms of service thing that isn't just you guys are dicks, we're gonna ban you. But like, do feel kind of...
Totally.
Yeah, I do feel kind of a bit iffy on all that. But gambling isn't the only thing happening in Dota 2 at the moment. Well, I mean, gambling isn't really even happening in Dota 2 at the moment. Gambling isn't the only thing happening in esports at the moment. We've got a lot of stuff going on, despite it kind of being a little bit of a lull in the pro scene because teams are scrimming and practicing and all that, which makes for good viewing for us because we get things like, if you haven't seen, a lot of the IXDL has come back, and we're seeing OG versus EG, or like a mixture of those two teams coming on every night, which is in some degree, quite cool. But I think it also, for me, unfortunately, highlights where we are at the moment with the state of Dota relative to other kind of like sports, where we still don't have, many of the top teams still don't actually get together to practice until it's TI time, and then you see like the teams go and group up, and say like OG are in Canada at the moment, but previous to that, I mean, these are just a bunch of guys scattered across Europe and NA. Wait, is anyone in
Yeah.
NA? No, they're all. Wait, is Moon playing out of Canada? Yes, I mentioned Moon's playing out of Canada.
I'm sure he's probably in Europe. I don't know. They
Could be in Europe, yeah.
they were training in maybe like Denmark or North Germany or something.
Oh, really? I thought they were. Oh, maybe they're playing.
I
US.
don't know. Maybe they just do boot camps and then move it after like 6 weeks or something.
Yeah, but I mean, it's an interesting catch-22 because as a pro side, where do you go? Because if you're an EG or like an organization, an EG or maybe like a DC, like an NA organization, realistically, if you want the best scrims, you go to Europe or even like Asia, right? Because that's what they do in LoL. As it gets before the LoL Worlds, like all of the top teams migrate to Korea, and they just like legit. All the top teams, doesn't matter who you are, you just migrate to Korea, and you play in Korea. If you're an NA team, do you move from like NA over to Europe so you can get better ping to Europe servers and play that, or?
Um, Wait. Oh yeah, you probably would. Oh, I don't actually. Like, I think a lot of people move to Europe as well, just because like, or like the reason why people move to Korea is just because there's better scrim partners as well. Like,
Yeah.
if you're in a weaker region and then you move to a stronger region, you're going to be scrimming way more often with better teams.
Yeah. Exactly. It is. Yeah, I watched a documentary. So by documentary, I mean it was like a 10-minute promo piece for Counterlift Gaming CLG, their LOL team, and about their experiences in Korea. And it's interesting to hear that the reasons that they went to Korea this year as opposed to what they did the year before, and they said that they genuinely felt the reason why they didn't perform better was because they couldn't scrim against the top Korean teams, and that's just it's a matter of fact, it's also an issue that again you definitely face in the Oceania region, because like you can scrim SEA, but like the issue is that you can only scrim like so many SEA teams before you can't scrim anywhere else. Like if you're in say like Europe, depending on where you are in Europe, you can scrim SEA. Depending on where you are in Europe, you can scrim US. You can play Luxembourg servers, like that kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
if you're in Oceania, you're stuck with a lot of the time dodgy ping to SEA unless you live in like Western Australia.
Yeah, and actually like the cables as well. Because it seems to me that people don't understand how ping works, and basically a lot of it is just straight distance. Like there is a cable, a telephone cable that goes underneath the ocean, and then that is what causes latency because it's how far the distance is. For New Zealand to get to Singapore, where the SEA servers are located, we go across to Australia, and then we go up, and then everything goes through Guam, which is like this massive small US base in the middle of the Pacific, not the middle of the Pacific, and near Taiwan, and then it goes back down to Singapore. So the ground that it covers to get to the SEA server is actually like really like strangely laid out, and so it actually ends up being quite far for us.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, as more money gets into the scene, these kind of things are gonna eventually kind of like rectify themselves. Like obviously our internet, like we actually have
But you can't change physical distance though. Like that's the thing. Unless they make a direct route from here to SEA.
like exactly. But like
you
that's what you can do, is like you can make that direct route through to, But like, yeah, like you said, there's always gonna be,
And then a VPN is just like a part of that cable that is designated for only your traffic or a limited amount of traffic, so it gets a little bit faster. But then still, you're never going to be able to get perfect ping to everywhere.
No,
like
exactly.
that's why you have different servers, geographical servers.
as more money does get into the scene, obviously, teams are going to be able to, like, they're going to be able to afford to go to gaming houses because it's going to be, like, kind of seen as more beneficial. Like, we see at the moment somewhere like Secret, like, that's their own kind of financial investor, which in theory he's got his own financial gain and motives from doing it.
Yeah.
But, like, other than that, and other than someone saying, look, hey guys, just fly to my house, like, we've got some room. Like, there's no real kind of dedicated, like, it's certainly not on the scale that you see in, like, League of Legends or something like that, which is, like, a little disappointing, but it is what it is. If you're in chat and you want to hear us talk about anything particular, feel free to drop it in. We'll open up the lines now because there's not many of you in chat, so I'm not going to get many of you coming in and shit talking us, which is great. Just jump onto the server, which again is located like below. Come say hi, we don't bite too much. Anything you wanted to talk about in particular today, Dylan?
I don't know. Did we talk about the ep6 qualifiers?
No, actually, we haven't streamed. I haven't streamed since then. Wow. No. Okay, let's go. TR6 qualifiers. Yes.
Hang on, I gotta bring them up on my computer
Yep,
screen.
I'm doing the same thing right now. Actually, unfortunately I didn't get to see too much of the qualifiers because they all kind of happened at a bad time.
I tried to watch as much as I could, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm sort of unemployed right now. Well, like, I mean, I have a job, but
bit.
it's not a career job, so I have a bit of time on my hands.
Does that count as being unemployed? Because that means I'm fucked.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, I work at the warehouse. Everyone gets a bargain.
Oh, nice.
Pay me.
I just film horses at a race course.
Nice. Well, there you go. Hey, you do what you do, but it's certainly not a kind of a career job that I'm looking for. Okay, I've got this up now. I mean, the first thing you've got to talk about is the NA qualifiers and what a joke NA is as a region.
Yeah, the fact that a team called themselves G-Bulba and then just troll like a troll team, and then they made it to the finals of the Open qualifiers. I think that kind of sums up the region, eh?
Yep.
Just memes.
Just absolute memes.
The scene is a meme, to be honest. American Dota is a meme.
It's kind of been discussed at length, so I'm not gonna like spit it out here again.
That qualifier went like textbook as planned, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
I reckon DC second, Complexity third, and then FDL fourth.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like that was always kind of going to happen. Like, those kind of teams were going to set the bar pretty high. I don't know. It's just, like, it's why I get so mad. And I've actually... So, I completely ripped this idea from... I think Pimp Muckle brought it up in one of the What the Duck podcasts for Moon Duck. So, thank you guys for giving me material for my show. But they produce an offline qualifier. And I quite like that idea, because they do it in CSGO. So CSGO, they have an offline qualifier for the region before they go to the major. And,
oh, is that for China, you mean?
No, that's for, like, all regions in CSGO, like, whatever.
Oh, they did that for this China qualifier, though, for the international. The China one was LAN.
Oh, it was China LAN?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not that I saw any of the venue or any of the LAN stuff, but that's what the casters were saying on the stream. Which I think is actually a really good idea, right?
Yeah. That's, like... That's one thing I think they should implement, but I also... what else I took from from Moonducking, thank you, Moonduck, was the issue with, like, roster lock. And I made a really interesting point about the way that Valve structures at the moment, where it's kind of like, you've got a point where rosters lock, right? Like, that's the date. So, the day before, if you're in a team and you get kicked, you can't find the team. And I really like the idea of what you see actually at the moment if you're an NBA follower, the NBA free agency period, where it's like 2 weeks, and teams who at that time don't have a team can sign for a team over those 2 weeks. So the way it would work is if you're registered for a team before that the free agency date, then obviously you're roster locked to that team. But if you don't have a team, then you've got that period of 2 weeks. So if you get kicked the day before, a la like Owie from No, it was EG. No, did
from
get
DC.
DC. Is it DC?
Well, he went to he was EG and then he was DC and he was EG and then now he's no one.
Now he's coaching secret.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
I don't mind the roster lock. I kind of, like, you know how it's a certain date and you have to
yeah,
register by the certain date. I mean, I think that's okay. And then there's a couple of examples of how it has treated players unfairly, but I don't know if that's the system that's treated them unfairly. I think that's just the other players and the management from their team. If you want to drop a player right before a roster lock, you're just a bit of a dick.
yeah, I don't know. Like, I 100% agree. He's a bit of a dick. Um, Certainly not that perfect perfect world of land. Craigasm, Fragenstein in chat. But yeah, I mean, I like free agency because I think it kind of promotes. It promotes at least a little bit of fairness in the system. Like, I agree that it stops people from just being dicks. Like, because if you really were a dick, then you could just do that as a team. And you'd think, like, if you said before it actually happened, if you said, hey, like, one of the top teams in the world is going to kick a guy the day before roster's lock, and if he doesn't find a team within that day period, he doesn't get to play at TI.
Hmm.
Like, if you said that to me before it actually happened, I would have been like, what organization in their right mind would do that? And then, like, you just
It's not that organization is not a good word to put it.
Well, yeah, exactly. The disorganization. But that's another gripe I've got about, like, Dota 2 players. Dota 2 professional players acting like they're 10 years younger than they actually are.
So coming back to the qualifiers,
Yeah.
Just looking at the list, what did you expect out of China, and what were you surprised by the results?
Like, not particularly. Like, I think Vici Gaming was going to get through, but I believe,
Oh, ROTK is retired now after that, apparently, as well.
yeah, isn't there like a disband? Haven't Vici Gaming disbanded?
There was some viral videos that went online of Silo and ROTK having this like massive
Oh,
argument
really?
over Beastmaster Hawks or something like that, and then ROTK posted online that he's retired. But I don't know, like, just off that basis, I don't really know what's going to happen. I guess everyone's talking about the disband, or like, I think VG were going pretty well. But ROTK's performance in the last year or so, as we know, have been a bit up and down and all over the show.
There's a lot of those old Chinese guard who just haven't performed for a while, and whether or not that just be like the meta or what, it is a little bit sad.
I really rate Silo though. I feel real bad for him.
There's a bunch of players on that Vici Gaming team, like even someone like Burning and RSEK. No offense, boys, but like you've had your time in the sun, really.
Just Burning position 5 though, it's so crack up, bro.
Oh, it's like just memes, but I feel bad for
Just
CTY.
every time he makes a mistake, you just crack up laughing. You're like, Burning, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, I feel bad for CTY. Like, I feel like CTY's a player who, like, again, old school.
Oh, he's still like a god as well, eh?
Yeah, like old guard Chinese player. Not necessarily again making it through, but no real surprises that Wings played as well as they did. Wings are kind of like the CDEC of last year, like that kind of story where none of the players are particularly like super individually talented, but they just understand the patch and just run it to a T. I think they're looking like Wings is looking so strong. I think actually, I think Wings is gonna like low key some teams.
Yeah. Also, the other point I wanted to bring up was VGR came second. They qualified, but they did it with Mikasa standing in, who's their coach, standing in for mid lane again. And last time he did that was when they were in Russia and they won. Was it epicenter?
I
think so.
Was it epicenter? I don't think it was epicenter. I think it was a tournament before epicenter, maybe. I'm not sure,
Starladder I League.
Okay, yeah, Starladder I League. But yeah, regardless.
Yeah, so now they're going back to switch back to him because Nono's not playing, and they're doing well again. So maybe they should just keep that because every time he seems to stand in for them, they just step it up.
But yeah,
yeah, he's not like even that good, but just the way he plays is so focused around like the team strategy and what his team wants. Like, he knows that he understands the game so well that even though he like has you know, his skill level might not be massive, like
Yeah.
his little things he does. He might get outlaned or something, but then he just plays this around his team so well.
So going into TI, obviously we're going to have this discussion probably more than once, but with the way that Dota seems to evolve, like the discussion's probably still going to be valid each time we bring it up. Is who are we picking for TI, and who we think is gonna perform well now that we know the qualified teams. Like I'm looking at, again, I think Wings are going to go super deep in the tournament. I think
Bro, I never know with Wings though, eh? Like they could just do something real stupid and just flop.
there's always one team.
Like, wait, didn't Wings try run like a jungle alchemist once, like recently as well,
Was
and
it
it just
Wing? I'm
didn't
not
work?
sure.
It
I
was
mean, I
so funny, bro.
wouldn't put it
They
past
they
them.
called GG in like 15 minutes.
Well, actually, just straight up wouldn't put it past them. I don't know. I think Wings. My top four at the moment are probably like Wings. I want to put Secret there because Secret with Bulbas look good, but then like, and so for Secret, the overall like skill bar, like the ceiling of their ability has decreased. No offense, Bulba has decreased slightly with Bulba, but I think at the same
I
time,
think it works, but he works better as the team though because we looked at it before. Like Universe is quite a greedy offlaner. I think we might have talked about this, and then having like EE and Arteezy who are
yeah.
both really greedy players. There's not enough farm in the on the map, and people have to do risky farming and get caught out, and it just wasn't working for them.
But in saying that, though, like if everyone plays to the top of their ability in that old secret roster with Universe, in theory, I think that team would beat anyone in the world. If everyone played to the best of their ability, I honestly think that secret team would have been able to beat anyone in the world. But that's also because I'm an EE fanboy, like at heart,
Yeah.
from way back. But I think with Bulba, the skill ceiling decreases, but the skill floor also rises because you're not like gonna have that absolutely like disastrous performance because at least one of the cores is gonna get farmed because you don't have Universe stealing it. Fragenstein says implying they beat OG. Fair call. OG next team, I think Secret OG Wings and probably one more. I imagine that's coming from China. Not sure. Who are your top four?
I'd gotta go with the classics. Say OG Liquid, Secret,
Liquid?
Newbie. Yeah, they'll all go far. LGD are looking pretty fucking good as well.
Yeah.
So I'm expecting them. I'm actually really excited to see TNC. I'm gonna be fanboying over them because I've been watching them for ages in SEA, and they're always like second up in qualifiers and like always just missing out for everything.
Yeah.
And so like, but they're not. I don't think they're gonna get that far because if you look at all the other teams, and then like the wildcard teams, you know, two of them are going home, so the top two of those wildcards will go in. So whoever it is, but I think they do. TI will do like two massive groups, I think, and so you'll at least get to watch them in lots of games.
Hey, MUFC, you know, we just bring up the MUFC argument every time you see an understrength SEA qualifier. But I mean, if you look at those, okay, go through the wildcard teams. It's probably Complexity and eHome. Maybe. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize Escape Gaming.
Execration, see you later. Sorry,
Oh
boys.
yeah, I'm not even sorry. I'm not even factoring Execration in.
Arbit is actually a really, really good mid player, but other than that, I'm
That
not too sure what they're up to.
That team's. I think Complexity get in just off the back of I feel like they're more experienced at a big time
Oh, do
tournament
you?
than Escape.
I'm gonna say eHome and Escape, bro. Those are my
Really,
picks.
I would have said
Yeah.
probably. I would have said eHome and Complexity. I don't know. It definitely is
Okay.
going to be close. I think eHome is going through. Like, I think we can agree on that. Complexity or Escape. What do the boys in the chat feel? Feel free to pop that. In fact,
I'm
we've
gonna
even
say
we've
I'm
got-
gonna say Escape top and eHome second because I think Escape are going really well,
Wow,
and
okay.
also I think Swindles is gonna it's gonna go down to like
Choke.
eHome and Complexity, and then Swindles is just gonna choke for it. So it's
choke
gonna
real
happen.
hard.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Swindles. I like that guy. I like his opinions, but sometimes he just does not play the best Dota, and
No.
sometimes he plays amazing Dota, but it's just a bit all over the show.
I see in the waiting room we have Mr. Meister, one of our fabled mods. So I'll bring him into the call now. Mr. Meister, welcome to the stream. How are you?
Hey, Mr. Meister, how are you? 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 How are
welcome into the show, Matt. I'm just going to kind of bring you in and
Yeah.
say,
Oh,
you have
how's it going?
yeah, good. We just, I'm sure as you've been interacting in chat, you all know exactly what we're talking about. Okay, complexity, eHome, escape, and execration. Who's going through in the wildcard? Remember that escape is Era, Koifa, Kezu, Yapsa, and Cinderans. The old, like, what do they call themselves? No Diggity. Oh, the old No
Yeah,
Diggity.
I would like them to go through it. I really would. A lot of cool names in there that we haven't seen in a uh, high tier match for quite a while. Well, we have, but like not like a major.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be cool to have them there. But didn't eHome lose in 12 minutes and then Rage quit the next game or something like that? Like, did I not hear about that?
Is that
No, when
eHome?
was this?
Was it eHome?
That was one of the China. It was one of the China teams. Might have been VGR. Not sure. But yeah,
Was
it
this
was.
in
It
the
was. It was a
qualifiers?
game that didn't matter.
SVG.
From
Yeah.
what I read, it was a game that didn't
Yeah.
matter, and so they GG'd out in
Yeah.
12 minutes or something.
Yeah. I mean, but still, that doesn't say the strength. That doesn't give you much hope for the strength of your roster, really, does it? Like if you GG out in 12 minutes.
I think no, but I think that game was like there was some
As I said-
circumstances around that. I briefly read the Reddit thread. There was some like circumstances around it that like they couldn't, like they were definitely going through, or they definitely lost like overall in the tournament already. So that was kind of like a dead rubber. So they just GG'd out in 12. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I still reckon complexity home have got it. But in saying that, there is going to certainly be spice from that first moment in the wild cards, because that is going to be a dogfight.
Yeah, I'm sure. Complexity will be able to get through. They have experience, whereas I think some of the others not so much. Yeah, I mean they do, but not as as much as Complexity do. Their roster has been solid for quite a while.
Yep.
They've played together. They've played in this meta at a high level, and all that sort of thing. Provided there's no patch before all this goes down.
No.
There might be a little one.
Yep.
They might actually true. They might just like balance, like have a small balance patch.
They might just nerf Armlet.
What do you think?
For like the fourth consecutive like patch
Plus-
balance change?
Oh, it's actually it's actually alright now. But,
Yeah, once they
it was pretty broken. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was good. I don't think it was ever really broken. It's really strong at the right time, right?
Yeah, but no, I was watching lots of pro teams and they're just running like 3 armlet cores and then just rushing armlet and storming in. You're like, if you have that like a game plan around that, that's kind of when it gets a bit crazy.
Yeah, that's fair. Cool.
Like
New
how
drums,
Glimmer
I
Capes
suppose.
used to be real OP as well, and you see like 6 of them in a game.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was a really good item. Do you think it's still good, Glimmer?
Yeah, I actually really rate it. It kind of depends who you're playing, but I think because I guess if you're playing a support, you kind of want to pick up some defensive item, whether it be like a 4-stuff or a Glimmer, and then some situations Glimmer's real good, especially because of that cheeky little magic resistance as well. If you're versing like I don't know, like a Nyx or something, or like someone who wants to jump you and burst you, like a Nyx, and then you can just be like boom and just like yeah.
I really
Real
hate
nice.
I really hate that item nerfs Necrophos so hard. Like, I don't know if you see it super often, but because you've got so much time to cast it when the hook's coming, it just takes away so much of the damage.
It mitigates a lot of their hero.
And I'm a big fan of Nick Frost, despite not playing him super frequently because I'm usually on support, and he's a trash support. So
I want to say that
but-
Glimmer Cape, just quickly, being able to cast while you're channeling is so fucking good as well. Like
true.
just drop a channel and then one of your other teammates is dying or something, and you can do it to them. You can like if you're TPing somewhere and then they storm you and try to kill you, you can like cast it on yourself while you're channeling TP, and you'll just go there and you'll already be invis, and they'll be like, oh, he must have cancelled his TP, and then and before you do some crazy shit.
And that's been the case since the beginning for the item, right? It was always kind of designed. Everyone was saying it would be good on Crystal Maiden and Witch Doctor just for the ultis. There's another aspect of having to cancel it. You got to dust first or sentry first or whatever.
Yeah, hard out. I think it's a good item. It's cheap. It's like real cheap.
I find that all my support games I typically pick up either a Glimmer or a 4-star is usually.
Or even
It's
both,
one of
man.
it's one of the two, or even both, yeah. But I'm always such an Aether Lens guy. Man, I love that item. It's so good. I argue with my stack about if I can build that or a 4-star.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes Aetherlands can bite you in the ass though. If you have it in that situation, you need something defensive. And you try hang back, and then they just face rush you, and you're like, well, this range isn't going to do anything when they're attacking my
I
face.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But no, I think Complexity are definitely going through. Yeah, good team.
I was just trying to think in my head because I'm on the Liquipedia, so the Team Liquid um, International 2016 article where I'm looking at like I was trying to think of like it says that Liquid finished 7th to 8th, and I was trying to think, man, when did Liquid finish 7th to 8th? But of course that's the old iteration. But
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
I think
TIA.
I'm interested to see how the players with like how the teams with like newer players that haven't made their way onto the scene, haven't made their way to the top tournament, are gonna kind of play. Like you look at someone like KP for newbie, like they like okay. So there's a lot of players who've played in TI but haven't like played in TI, like haven't made it deep in TI.
Yeah.
I think that also can be said of OG. Like that's gonna be the big thing with OG, right? Is you've proved yourself at the majors, but then TI is just one step up. I mean, I think they'll be able to do it. I predict, they'll be top 4, but like whether or not
Have
they
they
can go
not
all the
been
way.
to a Have they not been to a TI yet? I guess not.
No, OG
No,
won.
so
They won Frankfurt.
they
They
won
won the first
Frankfurt.
major.
Yeah, and then they missed Shanghai, and then they got Manila, right? Yeah.
Or did they win Shanghai, Manila, and miss Frankfurt?
Who won?
Wait, who won
No,
Manila?
they definitely won Frankfurt. Who won Shanghai?
Secret.
Secret. That's
Oh,
right.
Secret over Liquid.
Yeah.
That's right.
So OG, Secret, OG.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all there's only been 3 teams in all the 3 finals. Because it was
Yeah.
OG Secret, then Liquid Secret, then Secret OG, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't
no,
Secret. It wasn't
I
Secret
mean,
OG in Manila.
It was OG Liquid.
It was
the
Liquid
last
OG
one. Yeah.
in Manila. Yeah. Secret did not do well in Manila.
That's right.
Which
I
always
don't
lost it, I
care
think.
much for Secret, man. Like
Yeah.
Secret and EG, I've been so used to like them winning, like when they were on form, and it was just either of them two winning all the time. And I'm actually like kind of glad that it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that they're both kind of in the same place right now. Like, I don't know if we already discussed this because I was talking with flatmates, but do you guys think EG is better than Secret, or vice versa?
I actually think that they're both looking really scary coming into this TI.
Scary. Do you think? I'm scared for them.
I think it's only gonna, I think one team's gonna do okay and one team's gonna just bottom out. I feel like for EG a lot of it rests on Sumail. Like we've seen how good Sumail can be. We've also seen how Sumail can be ineffective for 12 months. And I feel that like PPD seldom gets outdrafted to an extent in which his team can't pull it back through good performance. So
he might lose the draft, but he'll only lose it like slightly.
Yeah,
he never gets like completely outdrafted.
he's not going to get completely outdrafted. And so like I think a lot of it rests on. I think it's pretty unfair. Like Fear's always going to be consistent. Like, you know what you're going to get from Fear. Universe is going to be Universe. This is why I'm kind of like. It's like a lot of it is going to be on Sumo. I think Zai's going to be fine. Zai's going to transition back and fine. Like it's literally he's playing with PPD. The support duo.
Is Zai playing carry?
No, he's playing 4.
No,
he's
Zai's
playing like
playing 4
roaming.
with PPD. He's playing
He's been
5.
playing heaps of real good bounty hunter.
Who's playing carry?
Fear.
Yeah.
Fear's back to carry.
It's Fear back to carry. What about his injury? I guess he's healed.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because that was a good question because that was one of the reasons why he wasn't playing. Didn't want to play as much core.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know,
All
but
right.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
but I mean
you
like
can't get much higher than carry being cool.
yeah, I don't know.
But
like Zai and PPD, they can be fine because they've literally played for years before they even joined EG together.
Yeah.
During home.
Oh, I don't see them being a problem. Yeah, actually, you're quite right, and Fear's a pretty stable carry. He's a good position 4, but I was sort of watching him most, I suppose, when he was playing carry. So,
I think there's a couple of points to bring up. Is that like because there's going to be so many pool stage matches, and the meta of the tournament will develop. I think the teams that have bigger pools and bigger hero pools and more reserve strategies will probably go further. And so depends because they have slightly new rosters. Like will they still have tricks up their sleeve and newer cards to pull out as the tournament goes deep, or maybe because they have a new player, they haven't really been practicing too many different styles of Dota. They've just been trying to familiarize themselves with one style. I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think that's what they'll be tested on.
Yeah,
because the way I saw EG play, for example, they were just playing the same shit over and over again, all their matches.
Yeah, I mean, like if it works, then you do it. But like you said, that's the tournament meta is like certainly something. I mean, I remember back, was it? Yeah, it would have been TI5. I remember back in TI5 where like Luna was the answer, and I can't remember what it was for. But like EG
It
picked.
was because Gyrocopter was super strong, and Luna's like a poor man's Gyrocopter.
That's right.
So yeah, so she was
That's
getting
right.
picked all
Remember
the
when
time
like
as like a backup.
Luna was a relevant carry in the meta during TI5, like just
But
for
she
that
was
duration
still
of the
tier
tournament.
2. Like it was no one's first choice. It was if the bans had been banned out and they
Yeah, and then
needed
banned
the
out
team
Gyro.
fighting carry.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Jara wasn't
yeah,
there
I
or
remember
already
that.
taken.
Did you guys watch that a while ago? There was like a BTS SEA game, and someone played position one Luna, but went Ags refresher straight up, so you just drop like
Wow.
double ults,
No, I
and
didn't see it.
the game went for like 90 minutes as well. It was like absolutely fucking mental.
Did they win? Did the Luna win?
I think they did win, but definitely the Ags refresher. Like when they first got the Ags refresher, like it was so brutal, and then
Yeah.
they just kind of played. The other team ended up playing around it a little bit more, and then like I think they still did win. But if Luna went for a more standardized build, it might have been easier. But it's hard to say. They still won
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah. I mean, Dota's very complex in that regard. That it's hard to say that one change would have made it better. Or
Hard. It's really
whatever.
easy to be retrospective in Dota as well, but like
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
easy.
about various things. Going back to Samael, I think his hero pool is pretty small, and Storm Spirit, who I consider one of Samael's flagship heroes, is still not in the meta, right?
he's
think-
coming back in.
Is he Storm?
Yeah.
I was saying this low key last night. Storm, low key, like he would come out of nowhere. Someone's gonna pocket pick a Storm and Reek because I think the Bloodthorn change for any hero that rushes an Orchid. I think Bloodthorn honestly just changes the game. Like you see it with Quap, and I'm surprised we don't see more Quaps because the Bloodthorn change. Because all of a sudden
Yeah.
it means that hero isn't slot limited and can go later. So if your draft is going to shift later, or you feel as though the game is going to have to go later, then all of a sudden a hero like Storm, a hero like Quap, isn't as slot limited, and Bloodthorn wrecks like even the best of like carries. Like you see like a PA, you see I don't know, any hero that builds like evasion, you stick that on him. No longer does your core need to carry an MKB necessarily.
I actually think Quap's a real hard hero though. Like just because in order to have a good Quap game, you actually need to be on top and just like almost stomping the other team. I feel in order to like keep up your item progression and keep the pressure on. And then if you like die a couple times, then you kind of lose the game from that. I feel, and then maybe that's why people don't like playing him because it's like such a dodgy strategy.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I was just about to say that I don't think Quap's in a very good place because she seems to be quite strong, play well, get some kills, but what do you do off that? Like, I mean, obviously your carry should be coming in and, at that point and taking over the game, but I've seen Alliance lose a lot of games with S4 playing Quap. I've got a good friend who is talking about how it's so hard to carry on Quap if the rest of the team is not doing well. You can stomp and then you get into real trouble. I've seen the hero lose a lot, and
Same.
God, my own win rate clearly backs up that Quap is a trash hero. I don't know, like.
I think what I really want to see is somebody go back for the OD because I know OD got a nerf, and so but the nerf that they gave OD wasn't actually that massive. It was just that they changed they just changed the orbs that does 1, 2, 3, 4 intel steel rather than 2, 3, 4, 5. So in lane he's nowhere near as good. Then I think later on he actually still scales, and if you can get big as him, you actually just like do a few right clicks and press R, and then you can fucking win a team fight from it. So I think OD's still a cool hero, and I really want to see somebody pick it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty like. It is another thing to get excited about TI. Like if there wasn't already enough to get excited about TI about, all of a sudden all these heroes now relevant. Like who knows where they could come out, and it actually starts at the wildcard phase. Like we saw Skyrath became meta during the wildcard stage, and then teams saw what's like this is TI4, and then teams saw what he did in wildcard stage, and then the first couple of teams start picking. Void was broken as fuck, and so people like pick Void Skyrath and just win games, and then that's how that meta kind of develops.
Void is still broken as fuck.
Yeah.
I like the new Void, man. I think he's real cool. He's like a way more of an offlane hero than like
Yeah, he's
carry.
so good in the offlane.
Yeah.
Like,
He
he's
is.
too good in the offlane.
But then you
Yeah.
also have heroes like Beastmaster and Darkseer who I'd consider like just as good in the offlane.
Yeah, that's true.
They're pretty great.
But
I,
Beastmaster's considered broken as well.
Yeah.
it's Iron Talon. Like Iron Talon. Okay, honestly, if there's a balance patch, nerf Iron Talon, please.
Yeah.
That
I like
item,
Iron Talon, man.
that
As an
item is
offlane player,
cancer.
as an offlane
Yeah,
player for my
yeah.
team, I like Iron Talon.
I think it should be like
Those
an
skills.
option to go to the jungle, right? But I don't think it should be as good of an option as it currently is. I think you'd have to be having a really trash offlane to want to go
Well,
to the jungle.
I I like it like quite a lot because I think I've watched a lot of tournament games this patch and the last patch, and that the amount of different lane varieties and lane matchups that I've seen have actually been like way more than any other previous meta. You have either you do a safe lane tri lane or an aggro tri lane, or like there was just dual lanes or something like that, or like Dota 1 you just run two middles. Those days.
Yeah.
But now, like the amount of options of like you can even just fully sack the offlane. Obviously, that has repercussions, and you're gonna give so much farm. But it's just about like tweaking that slightly because I think Iron Talon like if you how would you nerf it if you wanted to nerf it because I don't think you want to make it like more expensive or anything because
No, I think
you could maybe change its activatable so that's not as strong or is it just the constant stats that it gives you?
I think so. The way I would nerf it is that I would nerf the active, but the way that Valve would nerf it, I feel like they take out the like ring of like keep it the same price, but take out the ring of protection, and so like no longer does it give you like armor, for example. It's still got
No,
that.
but then you could start with the ring of protection, mate, and then go into it. So good,
Yeah,
best item in the game.
I do like how I saw a jungle bloodseeker in a pro game. I think it was a fairly high profile sort of game too.
Moshi
So
would have played it. Moshi's just absolutely spammed that.
yeah,
You know?
I think it might have been actually. But yeah, like I think that's a good part of like you were saying with the lane variations and stuff. You also see heroes go to the jungle who you don't usually see. Like Night Stalker's another one. I think without
True.
Iron Talon, he can't really jungle. Can he?
To be
Like,
fair,
even-
to be fair, Iron Talon has actually kept Night Stalker like semi-meta.
I'm a Night Stalker fan. Like, I think he's a lot of fun to watch. He's all about aggression, you know.
Yeah.
So like he's always entertaining to watch. So I'm quite keen to keep him in the meta. But yeah, I mean it is. I just think sacking the offlane, while a viable strategy choice, is probably not where they wanted to go with the item. You know, they didn't want offlining to become not a thing. You know.
It was about like I think it goes back to slot limiting where they want people to be able to pick up their early quelling blade but then maybe not think about selling it because like I feel as though when they made the item they didn't make it with perhaps they might have made it but I doubt they made it with offlaners in mind. I think they probably made it more with carries in mind like your safe lane carries that are typically like more slot dependent. I don't know, who knows. Can't read into a
I think
crystal
that they
ball.
just made it to like accelerate carries into the game so games
Yeah.
didn't go as long because before that you've probably seen like before that it was kind of a game of like oh let's stack ancients for 30 minutes and whoever's got Sven will win the game, and then like then I think it became it like definitely when they brought Quelling Blade in it did make a lot of things accelerate faster.
Well,
It's not like a absolute must on every carry though, is it?
No, not at all.
Like
I just think
yeah.
And there's also an interesting thing. I was thinking about this the other day, like Poor Man's Shield as well. Like that hasn't been seen so much lately, and there's only actually specific heroes and specific matchups that you would buy it in. But then sometimes, like I have seen it and it actually being used so effectively as well. But I think it's like underutilized sometimes. That
also
item.
because Stout Shield now builds into like a whole lot of more meta items. Like if you're going,
Abyssal.
yeah, like Abyssal now, like you need a Stout Shield. Like you now have to think twice before upgrading to a Poor Man's because you're like, well, if I upgrade to this Poor Man's, am I going to be getting an item down the road in which, or soon, or like a hero that rushes Vanguard? Okay, I don't think any hero does, but like as an example, like you do have to think of that. But we are coming up to 11 o'clock. It has almost been an hour here. Thank you, Matt, for calling in, saying hi. Of course, Mr. Meister, you can catch him casting every now and again here on Kai Studios. We are still covering the Oceanic Dota League, but unfortunately, we can only cast games when there are games happening. And as much as people have wanted to get that off the ground, there has been limited interest. If it comes back again, we'll cast it. But for the time being, we just cast the games we have. And Matt, of course, has been casting a bunch of those already. He will
Yeah,
also,
hopefully we can do a bit more.
yeah, he will also, of course, be alongside us at the UC LAN. But our guest for the show this evening has been DJ Pyle from Prime Dota Oceania. Dylan, this
Cheers,
is your
mate.
chance to promo.
Oh, bloody Prime Dota Oceania, hit it up on Facebook.
Easy as that. You could win an SF. Well, you could have won an SF Arcana if you liked it. I liked it. I commented. No SF Arcana.
Unfortunate.
Boy. What you did
It's
actually.
unfortunate, Zach.
I watched the number of likes that you guys had before and after, and you did actually generate some interest on your Facebook page, which I thought was pretty impressive. Maybe someone should shout us to SF Arcana. Wink, wink to the 2 viewers, one of which I think's in chat. No, one of which I'm talking to at the moment, and Matt. So but yes, thank you guys once again for tuning in. This has been episode 6. Next week is going to be what's next week? 13th. Yeah, so we're not quite there yet. So next week is going to be I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. Who knows? I'm actually trying to get a guest on next week. A certain particular guest I won't announce because I don't want to spook them. I haven't actually talked to them yet. I've just had an idea where I was like, hey, that guy'd be pretty cool. So hopefully we actually have a guest next week. Well, a special guest. I mean, I'm sorry, Dylan, but you're
I'm
a
no
regular,
longer
dude. You're
special.
like a regular. You're not special, you know. You're not.
I've lost my special charm.
Yeah, sorry, dude. But hopefully we will have someone up and running. But thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to leave you with the promo for the UC LAN. But thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time.